Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel here. Um, Want to make a quick video. Well, maybe not so much of a quick video, but we're going to make a video on Mass Effect 3. Alright, I'm going to see if I can put the... I think this is a fine spot for the camera here. Okay, I wanted to go over each of these weapons in Mass Effect 3. So I've been watching a lot of streamers, specifically one of my favorite streamers of all time, Oxhorn. So Oxhorn, I've sent you this video. I hope you watch it. It might be a little longer, but I'm going to go through all of the weapons. And because one of the things we talked about, or you talked about on your stream last couple times, was some people would encourage you to try the Rieger carbine, which was a shotgun. And you said, here, and I'll bring it up here. Where is the Rieger? There it is. And you said, hey, I don't want to use this weapon because it has no fire rate, it has no accuracy. Fair point. This is why we talk about how these stats don't mean a whole lot. They're a good baseline, but a lot of these weapons have a very different fire mode, and they're not all just, click the button and shoot. And some of them work very differently, and this is kind of what I want to do in this video, is to kind of showcase those differences. So since I'm doing this mostly for Oxhorn, I'm going to start off with the shotguns, and then we're going to move to pistols, then we're going to do assault rifles, sniper rifles, and then submachine guns. Submachine guns are really the least. Okay, so we're going to start here with, for the sake of this test, we're going to take off all mods. Okay. Okay. Okay, first gun we're going to try here is, come on, what in the world? Is the M300 Claymore. So I have the Claymore at level 4. This is actually my second playthrough on this character, so some of these I'll have, like this one I have at level 8. Okay, you can get to level 10 on your second playthrough. Okay, the Claymore is obviously a very heavy weapon, does a ton of damage, doesn't have a big capacity, fires pretty slow, and it's very, very inaccurate, okay? Alright, so what we're going to do... Alright, so this is our target with shield, this is our target just with health, and this is our target with armor. Okay? So it does a ton. Not too much damage there against armor. So, as you can see, not much, it really doesn't do a whole lot. This thing is really useful for, lots of enemies at a close range, but it's highly inaccurate. You gotta really get a good shot on this. That's why I don't usually recommend using the Claymore. Alright, let's go to the Disciple. See, the Disciple has a nice spread. So, the Disciple works pretty well, but it doesn't have a very big capacity. Its fire rate's a little better for a shotgun. The Eviscerator, again, this is going to work like another typical shotgun. It doesn't have a secondary fire mode. It has a minor field of spread. This is really a one-shot, one-kill type of gun. So really, let's review this real quick. So the Claymore, I really wouldn't advise using it because it's so inaccurate. It's just, you gotta get the shot just right. So I would not use the Claymore. Disciple fires a little faster. The thing with the Disciple is it works pretty well against shields. I'm not a big wild fan of it. I love the Eviscerator. Eviscerator is such a one-shot, one-kill, especially when you put some mods on it. Okay, Gas Plasma Shotgun. Now this is a gun that Oxhorn has been using quite a bit. Let's go over here to this one. As you can see, it has a regular attack. And now we're going to charge it. We're going to hold down the fire button. Now it's all the way held down, and a much stronger shot. Again, hold down the fire button. That takes 2 shots, okay? And it's almost 3 times as more powerful. But it just takes a little longer to get there. Okay. The Garrel Spike Thrower. Now this is an interesting weapon. It is very, very dangerous. It also has a secondary fire mode. If you hold it down all the way, it shoots out all of its at a very concentrated fire. Not shooting, it does that, but I'm not exactly sure what the difference is. It doesn't look like there's much of a difference. Let's see if the description has anything. For additional firepower, the weapon is double-barreled and has at least last sword possesses blades. Its shots can be charged for more damage. Okay, so it just does more damage. Okay, the katana. I mean, so for the sake of this video, I'll go ahead and show the katana, even though the katana is the basic shotgun. Okay, not much to do there. Raider is going to be very similar to the Claymore. Not an accurate gun, as you can see. Look at the spread. It's all over the place. I don't advise using this. Scimitar. Scimitar is an automatic shotgun. But you have to press the trigger to do it. You can get a lot of shots off on the Scimitar. The Wraith is very similar to the Eviscerator, but it holds less shots. No secondary fire mode. I would recommend not using the Wraith. Has to be purchased in the Spectre's office. I would not recommend using it if you're a Vanguard player, simply because the Wraith it does more damage than the Eviscerator at the cost of capacity and the fire rate. Again, the more shots you can get off, the better. Alright, I'm going to skip the Rieger Carbine and come back to it. We're going to do the Venom Shotgun. At its base level, it's going to fire 1 round. Okay? Now, if we're going to charge it, this is what it does. You see that? This weapon is very, very cool. So, charge it. Not only hits its area, but it puts out like 5 different cluster grenades that explode all around it. Very highly useful weapon. Now the Rieger Carbine, again, let's look at the Rieger Carbine. It says it has no fire rate, and it has no accuracy. Okay. See what it does? It has to be held down, okay? This is a continuous beam weapon, so to speak. See what it does there? It's like a lightning gun. So, this is definitely... This is the type of weapon, I think they just didn't know where to put it, so they put it in the shotguns. Definitely not a shotgun, okay? You have to hold it down to get the basically the electricity beam to shoot out and just melts targets. Okay, so it says here the fire rate is 0, accuracy is 0. As you can see, it's a constant beam of electricity. So the fire rate is completely irrelevant. Accuracy also is irrelevant. So yeah. Okay, next we're going to do pistols. I'm just going to go through some of these. I'm not going to show them all. The Carnifex, that is the heavy pistol from Mass Effect 2. Decent weapon. You know, it is what it is. I would like to point out something here when we talk about damage. Damage is how much one shot does. So on a pistol, it's pretty obvious. One shot does that much damage. But when we come up here and we talk about assault rifles, and there was one... So let's go over here and look at one of these. So like this weapon here, the Saber. Look at the damage it does. Oh, it's a lot of damage, but its fire rate is really low. This is almost like a sniper rifle. Whereas this weapon, high fire rate, its damage is much lower. But again, that damage equals, that's one shot. So if you're getting off a lot of bullets and you can concentrate them, it's going to do a lot of damage. Okay, so this is your basic pistol. The Eagle, this is what I would like to show. So Oxhorn, I know you haven't, you've gotten to the Citadel. Obviously, you did a lot of stuff on the Citadel in Mass Effect 3. Currently, you're doing the Tuchanka stuff right now. This weapon can be purchased in the Spectre's office. Okay, I think it's around 75,000 credits. Okay, this is, in my opinion, the best pistol in the game. Again, let's look at this. Let's look at the stats. Fire rate is fairly high for a pistol. The damage is pretty low, but here, oh, that's right. I wanted to take the mods off. So, decent accuracy. Fire rate is pretty high. Damage is pretty low for a pistol. But let's come over here and watch what it does. Automatic. Okay. And as long as you on your target. So we have 18 shots in a clip here. Watch how fast I can get a clip off. 18 shots. That's a lot of shots in a very short amount of time. So I would really advise purchasing the N7 Eagle. The Paladin is just like the Carnifex. Okay, it's just a little. It does a little more damage, weighs a little less. Here, I think it even talks about this. As a smaller clip than the Carnifex, its shots are more powerful. The Paladin also can be purchased in the Spectre's requisition office. The Phalanx. This is a weapon that you're used to from Mass Effect 2. Another heavy pistol. Very, very accurate. Okay, that's about all it's going to do. What it lost was its see, it doesn't talk about it in here. If you remember Mass Effect 2, it had a laser sight. So it lost its laser sight for Mass Effect 3, I'm not sure. Predator 5 is the Predator is the pistol that you start the game with. No need to display that. You're never going to use that one. Scorpion. Scorpion is really, really fun to use. I know Oxhorn has been using this. It fires basically sticky mines. That explodes after a while. Very helpful, but it fires very slow. It's a pretty fun weapon to use. The one thing I would advise on this one, so when we talk about the Scorpion, and so Ox, this is specifically a comment for you here. This mod here, the piercing mod, has no bearing whatsoever on this because it fires those cluster grenades. It has nothing to do with piercing. I would also recommend, especially for a Vanguard player, to consider using SMGs and pistols, and putting this mod, the Power Magnifier, on top of it. Power Magnifier will increase the use of your powers, making them more powerful. I'm talking about like your bionic attacks. The Talon. The Talon is a really fun weapon. Let's watch what this one does. Okay, the Talon is available in one of the Proceeding Commons stores, so it's pretty cheap. I want to say it's like 7,000 credits to buy it. See that? This is an ultimate weapon for a Vanguard. It is a shotgun that's a pistol. Semi-automatic, so you have to release the trigger. You can't do damage. It takes a long time to reload, but again, it works just like a shotgun. So again, this is another option that you could use if you want to go really low on your weight. Look at this. My weight is 200% on power recharge speed right now, just with the Talon. Arc pistol. I don't think, especially you for Ox, you haven't gotten the part of the game what the arc pistol is yet. Yeah, you'll get to it eventually. Arc pistol has 2 different fire modes. Here, let's go back over the stats here real quick on the arc pistol. So it's pretty heavy. It's got fairly low capacity, but it has a good fire rate. It's got really good damage, and it's got really good accuracy. So it's got a lot of good positive stats to it. Okay, so let's fire one shot. Takes a little while to shoot. Now, it has a secondary fire mode if you hold down the trigger. So, much more powerful shot, much more concentrated shot. Okay, so we're starting over. Looking at the health target, okay? One shot. Look at that, takes off 1 thing of damage. 2, 3, 6, 8. So it took 8 shots to kill that thing. When I do the concentrated fire, here, let me reload. Almost took the target down all the way. So this is about 4 times more powerful, the secondary fire mode, as opposed to each shot. And it only took three bullets, so much more efficient use of time to hold it down. Again, once you get access to the arc pistol, I'd recommend using it. Maybe not over some other pistols, but it's a good one to use. The suppressor, again, suppressor comes later in the game. You won't have access to it until you get to this the Citadel DLC. That's exactly what it says. It's suppressed. It's very powerful. It's very accurate. No secondary fire mode, just a simple suppressed pistol. Since this game doesn't really rely on sneaking, the suppression of it is more of a gimmick, but still, it's a very powerful weapon. Lots of damage, a very low capacity for a pistol too, though. And then we have the Acolyte. I don't really like this pistol. See, I'm just pressing down the trigger right now, and all it's doing is a little flashing light. You have to hold the trigger down. See what it did there? It fires grenades. It's a grenade pistol, okay? More of a gimmicky thing. I don't usually recommend using this. It's kind of fun to use, but it's very niche. And when you're in a firefight, you don't really want to not know where those little grenade lobs out of the pistol are going to go. Would not recommend using it. Executioner pistol. Again, look at this guy. Hot, lots and lots of damage, low fire rate, low capacity. This is like the equivalent of the golden gun from GoldenEye on the N64. It's one shot and you have to reload. Okay. Look at that! It completely tore through the armor one. You have to reload every single shot. Slow to reload, but again, that's why it's called the Executioner pistol. You should only need one shot. So of all these pistols I would use, especially if I was a Vanguard build, I would definitely consider using the Talon. Scorpion's alright. Scorpion, again, more of a niche use. The Talon's definitely something you definitely want to get. And if you just, or the N7 Eagle, both of those are really good. If you're looking for just a standard pistol, you can never go wrong with Cartifex or its upgraded cousin, the Paladin. Okay. I never really gave my recommendations on the shotguns. I would stick either with the Eviscerator. I don't really care for the guns. I don't like shotguns with secondary fire modes. The Rieger carbine is really, really good. But if I'm going to stick with a shotgun for a Vanguard build, I'm going to stick with the Eviscerator. That's just my opinion. Once you get access to the N7 Crusader, which I don't have up here because I haven't purchased it yet in this gameplay, it's highly accurate. You can it's actually a long range. It's a long range shotgun as well as short range. But I would typically I would stick with the Eviscerator if I was going to use a shotgun. Now, one thing about the Vanguard playstyle. Again, this is mostly considering what kind of weapons I would use for the Vanguard. Because like I said, this is mostly for Ox. You don't have to use a shotgun for Vanguard, okay? Matter of fact, what I would do, I would take the Talon, I would equip it with this, ultralight materials, and probably I would either put an extended barrel on it, for increased damage, or I would put the pistol piercing mod so I can go through armor. Either way, either one's fine. But I would do that to lower my weight, and then I would come in here and I would get an SMG. You want something that's going to be able to take down shields fairly quickly. Okay? And since Ox has mostly been avoiding the heavier weapons like the assault rifles and the rifles, let's go ahead and talk about the SMGs first. Again, I don't have them all listed here, but I want to talk about them. The Hornet is a 3-shot weapon here, and let me show you what it does. You hit the trigger once, and it fires a 3-shot. It's pretty accurate. I don't like the sound of it, which is why I never use it. Okay? The Hurricane, again, let's take off these mods. Hurricane is one of my favorite SMGs, even though it is fully automatic, but it is highly, highly inaccurate. If I'm just going to press the trigger down, not control the left stick. Look at that, it takes me all the way off the screen. So it's got a tremendous amount of recoil. I don't recommend using that, even though I do like it. Locust is from Mass Effect 2. Locust is highly, highly accurate. This doesn't do a ton of damage. But the Locust, look at this. With the ultralight materials I have on there, the Locust basically weighs nothing. I could almost put the Eviscerator shotgun on here. Look at this. My weight is plus 159%, and I've got an SMG, a shotgun, and a pistol. So it's all about finding the right loadout. You want that power recharge speed, especially if you're a Vanguard, up as much as possible. Okay, so let's look at the next one. The Shuriken is the basic SMG that you first get when you start the game. I'm not going to go over that one. This weapon sucks. Tempest is very similar to the Shuriken. Has a little higher capacity, a little less fire rate. Damage is the same, and its accuracy goes up. So again, not much to really talk about. It's your typical submachine gun. Again, it's okay. Bloodpack Punisher. This one is really, really interesting. What it does, we have to read the description here. It figures a secondary barrel that fires a 1 armor-piercing round. So I'm on shot number 40. Those 2 shots there were regular. Hold it down. Okay. Rip through armor. So like the Guardians, the guys with the shields, the physical shields, the Bloodpack Punisher can get through that weapon without you trying to have to aim through that little slot. Again, it's an okay weapon. Gas Plasma Submachine Gun, this one's really, really fun to use. High capacity. Look at that. I've got 500 shots I just picked up more. 575, and I have a 100 ammo clip. Now, I can just hit the target, the button, shoot one shot, or I can hold it down. That's what it does. It gets progressively faster. It's really like a minigun. The gas plasma submachine gun is a minigun. And it, just like the minigun in Fallout 4, you know, you gotta fire it, it speeds up, and it just starts firing faster and faster and faster. That's exactly what the Geth submachine gun is. It's like a minigun. And it also does not weigh hardly anything. Look at that. I can put... Okay. Let's go ahead and take all these weapons off here. Let's move up here to the assault rifles. The Argus, again, Argus, I don't like this weapon. Fires a 3-shot burst. Tremendous amount of recoil. Long reload times. Don't recommend using it. M8 Avenger. This is your basic weapon, your basic assault rifle that you start the game with. Again, I don't really recommend using it long term. Some people like it just because they fall in love with it, but again, I'm not a big fan of it. The Phaseon, as you can see here, let's take off the mods. It's not that much different than the Avenger. It's just, it's heavier, it's got a bigger capacity, fires better. The damage is actually less. But again, that's the damage for one bullet, okay? The capacity on this thing is really incredible. 383 spare, a 50 round clip. Very accurate. On target. Okay. No secondary fire mode, but it's just a really, really good submachine. It's a really good assault rifle. The Falcon. Falcon is a very interesting weapon here, okay? See what it does there? Fires grenades. It's a grenade launcher. So if that's what you want, go ahead, knock yourself out. I don't recommend using it. Geth Pulse rifle. Very, very good weapon. And I stayed on the target without even moving the thumbsticks. One of the most accurate assault rifles in the game. The Matic is very, very fun to use. It is a semi-automatic. It's not an automatic. It's not an automatic weapon. I like it. I prefer semi-automatics to automatics anyway. The Chakram launcher. This one I don't like at all. So you can see why. I'll show you. See, watch the animation. See, it's got this little disc in there, and it fires the disc, and it plants itself into the target and blows up. It's similar to the Scorpion pistol. Again, it's more gimmicky than anything. I'd rather kill the enemies really quickly as opposed to drawing it out. Revenant is a standard submachine or standard assault rifle too. Very heavy, tons and tons of ammo. It's got a huge clip, 102 clip, shot clip. This one's a pretty decent weapon. You're gonna be using an assault rifle up close because it's very inaccurate. But it's because it's so inaccurate, I would not recommend using it at range. Saber. Saber is an assault rifle that is basically a sniper rifle, okay? You don't want to use it shooting the hip. You definitely want to use it aiming. And because of that, we're going to put a scope on it. Fires slow for an assault rifle, but it fires fast for a sniper rifle, okay? It's got an 8-shot clip, so if you want to snipe with an assault rifle, this is the one to use, especially because it's got a high clip. You know, high capacity clip. The Valkyrie is a pretty fun assault rifle to use. I like using it. Yeah. It fires shot burst. It's pretty fun. It's a good gun to use. It really is. The Vindicator is a 3-shot burst. That's one of the more standard weapons in the game. I'm not going to go over that one. Particle Rifle. Particle Rifle does not use ammunition like you typically would think, okay? Shoots a concentrated damage. I'm just holding down the fire button and it's getting more powerful as you do. Once you're out of ammo, you gotta let it cool off. And the ammo replenishes itself, okay? So you don't ever have to worry about picking up ammo with the particle rifle. But you do have to manage to make sure you don't overheat it. So when it says here that the damage is really far down here, fairly low, ultimately what that means is that it's that one burst. So by doing constant damage to it, you can do concentrated damage really quickly. That's why the particle rifle is very, very good at taking down big targets. The Cerberus Harrier looks very similar to the Matic, and it's basically the same weapon, except it's a fully automatic rifle. I want to point out something on this. This here says the fire rate is so low. This is where you can't trust these stats, because watch. That's basically saying it's like a semi-automatic. It's not. Watch. Holding it down. It's a fully automatic weapon. It does ton of damage. It's one of the more powerful assault rifles in the game. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this one. The Addis anti-synthetic rifle. This is a Quarian weapon. If you just shoot one, electrical burst. It doesn't really have 2 fire modes. It's just that if you hold it down, it's automatic, but you can also do semi-automatic fire at the same time. Fairly interesting. It does pretty high damage, got a high capacity, but it's also very heavy. The Lancer is very similar to the particle rifle. So look, I only have a 46 shot clip. Oh, it replenishes. So this is a nod back to Mass Effect 1. It replenishes its target, its ammo. Okay? That's about the only special thing about it. And then the Striker Assault Rifle is really fun. It's fun to use more in multiplayer. It does a lot of damage, or you can hold it down. Oh, let's wait. Okay, let's do it. Hold it down. It keeps getting progressively more powerful, faster shots, but it's also very hard to control when you're going fully automatic. So, if you are going to use the Vanguard playstyle for any of these, I would recommend either using the Cerberus Harrier, the Matic. You could use the Facetin, but I would recommend either the Matic or the Cerberus Harrier. Again, the Cerberus Harrier is only purchased in the Spectre Requisition Office, and it's 150,000 credits. So it's pretty pricey. Sniper rifles. The Incisor. Okay, the Incisor is a 3-shot rifle. So notice that we have 15 rounds in our clip. I hit the trigger one time and it fires 3 shots. Now look what it. Now let's get a new one here. Okay, we're gonna aim right here at the square, and I'm not gonna assist this. Watch, and I'm just gonna pull the trigger once. Okay, did you see where that shot went? The first one went here, the second one went here, the third one here. So if you want a headshot, aim right below the head and fire. Or aim right at the head, fire, you get 3 headshots. Okay? It's a very powerful rifle, or sniper rifle. Doesn't do a ton of damage, but you have to consider it. That's the damage that 1 shot does, and 3 shots are coming out, so you have to triple that. You have to triple the damage every time you pull the trigger. Okay, so it actually does quite a bit of damage. The Endra. Now the Endra is one of my favorite sniper rifles in the game, and I'll show you why. Yeah, you could just do one little shot here. Or you could do what it's meant to do, and hold the trigger down. Fully automatic sniper rifle. So, again, 1 damage. The damage here is based on 1 shot. The javelin. Holy cow. The javelin is a Geth weapon. You can see how heavy it is. Insanely heavy. It has a very low capacity, incredibly low fire rate. The damage on it is insane. And I'm going to show you, when you put mods on here, you can make this thing like this right here. These 2 mods here make the damage go all the way to the top. Again, I only have 10 shots with this weapon. You cannot just... So I'm hitting the button to fire. Doesn't do it. Its only mode is to hold it down. Okay? Highly accurate. Very, very deadly. So if you hit somebody with this gun, they are going to die in the game. Okay? Mantis. Mantis is the standard sniper rifle we get from the start of the game. Not going to go over that one. The Raptor. Raptor is really fun. Raptor can be purchased on the Citadel. It's pretty cheap. Doesn't do a ton of damage, but watch. That's just semi-automatic. Semi-automatic. But it's a high fire. It's very, very accurate, so you get a lot of concentrated shots off at one time. The Viper. Viper is a standover from Mass Effect 2. Apparently, it has a 6-shot clip, but it fires fairly slowly compared to the one we just did. So the Raptor fires a lot faster, Viper fires a lot slower, but they're both semi-automatics. The Widow. The Widow appears in Mass Effect 2. You can use it if you're an infiltrator, otherwise only Legion can use it. This weapon is insane. It is just so powerful. Once 1 shot, 1 kill. Okay? That's it. That's all it is. It's just a 1-shot, 1-kill sniper rifle. The Crisis sniper rifle is really fun to fight Reapers with. I wouldn't recommend using it against other targets. What does it do? It basically annihilates whatever it hits. It like melts it. It just like explodes it from the inside. It's really fun actually to use. It says this target it's an anti-material rifle was modified to kill Reaper enemies. Like I said, it's really successful against Reapers. I would not recommend using it against. It's just not as effective against other units. It says the scope uses a rangefinder to adjust and to keep the target in proper proportion to the shooter, which comes in useful when the sniper is forced to close range. Whoops. Specialized ammunition is both armor piercing and explosive, so it explodes when it gets close. So basically, the bullet comes in, and once it gets close to the target, it explodes. Okay. In the Kishok harpoon rifle, highly lethal sniper rifle. But like all Batarian weapons, it has 1 clip, 1 shot in the clip. And it has a secondary fire mode, which is much more powerful than just... So you can come here and I can just hit this bullet, the button to fire, and it's going to do this. Here, watch me again. Okay. Or I can hold it down, hear the click, and release an even more powerful shot. So it's got a secondary fire mode on it as well. It's just a more powerful version. This one's really hard to master. You could put this gun in Garrus's hands and he can make it dance. I would not recommend using it as a Shepherd though. So typically I'm not going to recommend any type of sniper rifle for a Vanguard play, but if you are going to use one, I would recommend using one that fires a lot, either the Indra or the Raptor. So, at the end of the day, I would recommend using the Eviscerator. Geth Plasma Shotgun's fun, but it just weighs a lot, okay? You're going to want to maximize your power recharge. So get the Eviscerator on there, put the ultralight materials on it, you know, put the N7 Eagle, put your ultralight materials on there, and then put the power thing on there. And then give yourself an SMG for high power, or that fires a lot. You can use the Locust, because the Locust doesn't weigh anything with ultralight materials. Look at that. You have 3 weapons to use. All of it, well, 2 of them high capacity, and this one's not so much high capacity. But you have so many weapons to use here, and you're still at plus 194% on power recharge. So, again, it all comes down to picking the right weapons and the right loadout to coincide with your character's build. And at Vanguard, you want to use that charge. People say you want to use the Nova a lot too. I personally don't like to use Nova, and the reason why is because it drains your shields. Okay, and it's a very high risk, high reward type of move. And again, especially playing it on the normal setting, or sometimes even if you're playing on hard, it's just really, really difficult because you're going to find yourself dying a lot more. What I would recommend doing is using your charge, rush in as a Vanguard and knock them out, and then immediately start using your guns. High capacity, high shot, high fire rate on the Locust, or the Eviscerator, which is pretty much a one-shot, one kill. And the Eagle, which is a really good weapon too. It's fully automatic. So, like I said, the damage looks pretty low, but that's for one bullet. Okay, so you hold the trigger down, you get 5 shots off in like a second. You know that's times 5 now. So it's almost the full length of the bar there. So anyway, those are some of my recommendations. Again, one other thing I want to talk about on the powers on the charge. Ox, seriously, man. Get your charge to level 6, okay? At its most powerful rate, at its level 6, it will replenish your shields to 100% as opposed to only 50%, which is what it's doing now. So it'll allow you to stay in the battle longer. Yeah, and rely less on using your shockwave. The shockwave simply does not do as much damage in this game as it did in Mass Effect 2. I would even consider redistributing your powers and possibly not putting as many points into Shockwave. Pull is a very, very good target, a very, very good thing to use, because one thing you can do with Pull is you can put people in a pull field and then immediately charge them, and it's going to create a biotic explosion. Or you could use Shockwave on that too. You could pull them, put them. It's like a miniature version of a Singularity. Then hit them with a Shockwave again. Boom, biotic explosion. Does tons of damage. That's what. So when you look at like what your powers are, like on your passives, it talks about the damage of biotic combinations increases by 50% in certain different ranks you buy or whatever. I'm just making that up. That's what that's used for. Is the biotic combinations, mixing. Your powers maybe with Liara's powers and causing those massive explosions which do tons of damage. And you definitely want to use those against those armored units, those brutes. Remember you saw those on Palaven's Moon? Those big hulking things that look like a cross between a Turian and a Krogan. Those guys are very, very hard to bring down. You want to use biotic explosions on those guys. It'll kill them very, very rapidly. The last thing I want to talk about here is just some of these mods. And some maybe a confusion part. So this mod here is called the Piercing mod, okay? This Piercing mod appears on all 5 weapon classes in some form or another. So in this one here, I've got a level 5 Piercing mod on this guy. Whoops. And it says allows bullets to pierce 1.1 meter thick objects, but at 40% reduced damage. Ignores 65% of the defense on armored targets. Some people are like, we don't like to use this because it reduces the damage of our weapon. No, it only reduces the damage of your weapon when you're shooting through armor, which is those shields on the Guardians, or you're shooting at like the guys with any type of health bar that is yellow, that says armor on it. If you're shooting at guys with shields, you're shooting at guys just with regular health, the bullet's going to do the same amount of damage as it normally does, okay? So this is a win-win situation. Put it on your weapons if you want to, so you have armor piercing, or just bring Garrus with you and use his armor piercing ammo ability for the whole squad. Then you don't have to worry about it. So then you always have armor piercing ammo. Anyway, that's the video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a comment down below if you'd like to see more content like this, and we'll talk to you later. See you guys.